Babe, you have to scoot over. Stop, you have to scoot over.
Scoot over where?
This way.
Well, then scoot over.
Yeah, you gotta come this way. You act like you don't sit on this lap all the time. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing it. Never mind. Shh. Sorry, kids.
Was that videotaped?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're live.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, fucking.
Why are you cussing so early?
But.
No, you're gonna get it demonetized. I'm dead ass. This is already live.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Why would I have to lie to you? Oh my God, you don't listen. Just listen sometimes. Just once. Once. No, you're gonna get it demonetized. Oh man. What up, Crank? What up, Mary? What up, Hudson? What up, Liz? No, I didn't make you do anything. Don't blame that on me. You don't listen. Anyways, where you have my backpack, please? It's right there.
No.
Oh, man.
I ate too many chocolates.
I thought you was just about to be petty and be like, wait, what backpack? Or just stare at it like, you can't reach it with your long arms? Like, that's what I was thinking. She always be teasing how long my arms is. So, I mean, it wasn't, like, super far, but I would have to, like, reach all the way over her. And we're, like, sitting really close together so that y'all can see us and us not take up too much of the screen.
We're, like, really close.
She's, like, sitting on this lap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sitting on this. You gonna say it? You don't want to say it?
Dick.
Look at the volume.
For
it's
what?
Going up. For the watch list, for the pandas.
No more pandas.
Yeah, whatever.
Ain't about to buy no more pandas.
You think. You think. Anyways, what's up, everybody? Let me go back to the comments. My bad. You can pull up your comments on your side, too, so you can see it. What up, Brian? Yeah, just go to my live and just turn it all the way down so that they don't hear us twice. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, I should have got something to... Never mind.
No. Go get something to drink.
No, you got some
No! I'll wait.
Fuck, that.
Yeah. Look, and there's a water bottle right there. Just go fill it up with water.
No.
Yes.
No.
Because it's not like I could go get it for you because you're in the way. So you just grab your other water bottle and go get. You didn't go to sleep. You're not sleeping. Really?
Babe, let me have some water.
That was like real lavendery. Missed my hair for me, thanks.
Give me some.
You have to go get the refill then.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit there and me like you're not about to sit there and drink that whole bottle. Right. So you're still gonna have to get up
Play
and
the
go get us
scary part. That's why I came in here. I want to see some scary stuff.
We're going to get to that. Can you like say hi to the people or something? Can you acknowledge anybody? You act like we ain't on live.
Hi Liz. Hi Marie. Hi Brian Griffin family.
What up? What up? All right, we're about to do this Mr.Ballen. A boy thought he saw a ghost. The truth is much worse. Mr.Ballen always coming through in clutch, you know what I'm saying, with them good videos. And he's just a really good storyteller. I think you've heard me doing like editing videos from him and when I've done lives, but I don't think you've ever seen any of them, huh?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Can you do me a favor? Oh, nope, never mind. I think it's this one.
Okay, I was about to fall asleep.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to pretend I was asleep.
It's this one. All right, let's do this. Yeah. Oh yeah, go cop your merch. If you guys you want to cop some merch, get your 99 problems but a ghost ain't one merch or your shirt. It's on pre-order right now. Where is it at? Right.
I like having anxiety.
Right here. Why?
Because scary things are scary.
Or you just scary?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's okay though, because I think this is gonna make for some great content because you're gonna be real skittish.
And I'm kind of high.
And you talk shit. It's gonna be great.
Okay.
But cop your merch. Liz just dropped a link in the comment section, and then there also is the link, I believe, in the description. If not this, if it's not in the description of this video, just go to the last actual upload. It is in the description of the last like 4 or 5 uploads. Or just go to thatguymilehigh.com and cop your merch. You dig what I'm saying? Gang, gang, gang. Anyways, all right, let's go ahead and close this out, and let's get back to this, and let's do this, man. We got Mr. Ballen with... You jumping already?
Fucking dog.
Chief just got her. Anyways, let's do this, man. Let go.
In 1998, a young boy saw something terrifying out of a window in his house in the middle of the night, but after telling his mom about it, she looked around, didn't see anything, and so told him, you know what, you probably just imagined it. However, years later, that boy and his mother would learn he had not just imagined it. It was very real. But before we get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format,
go ahead
come to the right
tickle
place,
the gooch area of the
fucking, once or
you
twice
know, subscribe button.
So if that's of interest to you,
subscribe.
Please spend a nice long day at the beach, and then afterwards make a special trip to the Like Button's house so you can shake out your towels directly into one of their open windows.
No.
Also, please subscribe.
That's fucking ratchet.
Oh man. Like Mr. Ballen, he'd just be saying like the most random shit. He'd be like, you know, go hit that subscribe button and then throw somebody in the car and stick a bunch of killer bees in there with them or some crazy shit. Like, so I beat him to the punch.
Our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's stories.
Mr. Ballen. Yeah, he be doing some crazy shit. Listen, close your eyes.
Cranbrook, which is a small, snowy town in British Columbia, Canada, used to be a place no one had heard of. Then Isaiah Otieno changed that. In 2006, an 18-year-old smiling young man named Isaiah Otieno stepped off of a plane in Cranbrook and began making his way toward the baggage claim. As he walked, everyone in the airport stopped and stared up at him. Isaiah was 6'9" tall, and he was from Kenya, making him easily one of the most unique people in all of Cranbrook. Isaiah, who was the son of a Kenyan politician, had worked really hard to earn his slot.
Could you imagine being 6'9" though?
No.
That'd be like low key, like amazing, honestly, but like bad at the same time because you like bump your head on everything. Like nothing would be built for you.
Is that as tall as this?
What, the ceiling? No, this is a 10-foot ceiling. If somebody was that tall, that would be different.
That's like
that's different.
University called the College of the Rockies. His plan was to use that degree to get a great job so he could help support his family back in Nairobi. Not long after the first semester of Isaiah's freshman year had started, he was not only flourishing academically, but also socially. His big smile and his charm and his incredibly good manners had earned him many friends, as well as the nickname, the Gentle Giant. But the person Isaiah most closely bonded with while he was in Cranbrook was another student named Isaac Hockley. Isaac, in addition to being a student at the College of the Rockies, was also a passionate photographer and actually worked part-time for the local newspaper as a freelance photographer. Isaac and Isaiah had briefly met in late 2006 at their campus's billiard halls when they were both playing pool, but that interaction had not made them friends. What had cemented their friendship and made them very, very close was one night in early 2007, Isaiah had gotten a job as a bouncer at a local bar because he's 6'9".
Right, about to say,
and so
giant.
he was the bouncer. And Isaac had come to that bar, not to see Isaiah, just to go to the bar. And so Isaiah's at the front, he's checking people in, and then he hears this commotion in the bar behind him, and he turns and he sees Isaac is getting attacked by this huge guy that's way stronger than him, who looked like he was the aggressor in the fight. And so without any hesitation, Isaiah turns and just starts galloping into the bar. He's leaping over chairs, he's leaping over tables, and he jumps into the fray, and he fought off Isaac's attacker. there. And so after the dust settled, Isaac was so thankful for Isaiah, even though Isaiah kind of downplayed it and acted like it was no big deal. But either way, the experience totally bonded these two very different people, and after that, they became totally inseparable. Over the next couple of semesters, the pair would often go off on long rides outside of Cranbrook into the mountains and the forests, and they would just chat. Isaiah would talk about what it was like to live in Kenya and how he was really here to try to be successful like his father, and Isaac would talk to Isaiah about his passion for photography and what it was like growing up in Canada around Cranbrook. On one very memorable drive, the pair were driving at night along this kind of winding road that went through a forest when all of a sudden
My bad, Nugget. Finished making a new design for the Nugget for your hoodie. I made a whole new one for you that's never been. So you about to have a one-on-one Nugget goddamn hoodie coming your way this week. Gang, gang, gang. I just had to let you know, player. Gang, gang, gang. Shout out to everybody out there. Let's go.
Leapt onto the road and blocked their way. And so Isaac at the last second had to swerve to avoid the moose. But ultimately, they did not get into an accident, and it was just a close call. So Isaac was totally fine. He had kind of recovered within seconds of getting past the moose. But Isaiah, who was in the passenger seat, was totally shaken up by it. And when Isaac started talking to Isaiah about why he was so shaken up, because after all, they're fine. They did not get into an accident. Isaiah would admit that he wasn't shaken up because they almost got into an accident. He was shaken up because he saw a moose. He didn't know moose existed, and so seeing this enormous creature suddenly in the middle of the road right in front of them just had totally spooked him.
Wait a minute. Well, I guess that makes sense, because in Africa there aren't any moose. They got all sorts of, shit under the sun, but no moose. This motherfucker got terrified. Like, that makes sense. I was about to start clowning. Like, what the fuck?
They terrify me too. They're fucking big.
But that makes sense. And they're super territorial. We got moose out here. But yeah, that makes sense. I was getting ready to start clowning so hard, but I had to think about that. Like, wait, he's from Kenya. They ain't got no moose out there. So anyways, let's go.
So after this, Isaac loved to bring this story up as a way of kind of making fun of Isaiah for his fear of moose, but it was totally in a loving way, and Isaiah would always laugh right along with him. But despite how well everything was going in both Isaiah and Isaac's lives to that point, everything would come crashing down in 2008. On May 13th, 2008, so 2 years after Isaiah showed up in Canada, Isaac got a phone call from his employer, the local newspaper, who told him he needed to head into town to take some pictures of a crash that had just happened. A helicopter had been flying over Cranbrook conducting a power line survey when they had lost power and crashed. And all three people, the pilot and the two people in back who were actually doing the survey, they all died on impact. Isaac, like everybody else who heard about this, was totally shocked. One, because it was totally tragic and horrible, but two, because nothing ever happened in Cranbrook. So to have something so big like this happen right downtown was just unheard of. And so Isaac hopped in his car and he began making his way towards the crash site. And it didn't take long before he saw this massive ring of people right at the intersection between 10th and 14th Street. They were all on the sidewalk and up on buildings, and everyone's just looking in towards this massive mound of jagged metal.
What would you do if you seen like a plane wreckage like just in the neighborhood?
I would be terrified.
That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Be like that shit would be nuts.
I don't think I'd approach it or get any kind of close to it because I'd be scared it would explode or something, even though if it was already exploded.
I just think it would be just like super crazy. Like, I know shit like this just, it doesn't happen all the time, but there's definitely been like random crashes and stuff like in towns or cities and rivers and shit, or crash landings. But like that would just be nuts, just to be going about your day and then all of a sudden just a plane falls out of the goddamn sky and shit. Like, yeah, I would just be like, it's the aliens.
Every time I hear a plane go over our head, I get scared because we live so close to the airport. Like, I get scared.
I don't even think about that.
I always thought about that.
Really?
Yeah.
I never did.
Because it gets like really loud. And,
like now that you say, I'm like, that never even crossed my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Especially when they're really close.
No, I was just like,
it's like right.
Like,
hello.
Yeah, I just like, oh, there's another one.
Yeah, no, it's like just too close, going. And then it shakes the house almost. I feel like it does.
I feel like you just start moving yourself like, oh my God, it's so cool. No. I'm just playing. Why you get so serious? Why so serious?
Fire and all this black smoke was coming off of it, and there's ambulances nearby, and
get on
police and the
Snapchat.
fire
Look,
department was
I get
there,
on
and they're trying to put out the
Snapchat,
flames, but
recording
they
that
can't do
shit.
it. And so Isaac parks his car, and he rushes over to this ring of people, and he works his way towards the front. He pulls out his camera, and he began taking pictures, first of the wreckage and the fire, and then also of the police as they put tarps over the bodies. Little did Isaac know, these pictures he was taking were about to take on a whole new significance for him. Earlier that day, just before 1 p.m., Isaiah wrapped up his final class of the day, and after he was done, he remembered he had some letters in his backpack that he had been meaning to mail to his family back in Kenya. And so he decided on his way home, he would make a detour to the post office and he would mail those letters. And so he left the building where this final class was, and he stepped out into the bright sunshine of that May day. He put his headphones on, and then he began to walk. At about 1:05 p.m., he arrived.
Did the plane land on him? Is this where this
at
is
the post
going?
office, and he went inside just long enough to put his letters in the mail slot, and then he headed back outside. 1 minute later, at 1:06 p.m., as he was crossing 10th Street, the helicopter above lost power and crashed directly on top of Isaiah. Within seconds, he and the...
I called it. Holy shit.
That is crazy. So it just lost power and just nosedived, or what?
How did, like... What are the chances that a helicopter falls out of the sky and lands on you?
I mean, pianos land on people.
When?
Cartoons.
This is real life.
It had to have happened if it was in a cartoon.
People on board the helicopter would all be dead. It's believed because Isaiah was listening to music on his headphones, he didn't even hear the helicopter as it was crashing down. He was just walking, and then he was dead. It was a total freak accident. It wasn't until later that...
Just walking and then just dead. Like, one moment you're just like, doop-de-doop-de-doo, and it's just like, afterlife. Like, what, like, man, you got 99 problems and you are the ghost problem at that point. Like, god damn.
That Isaac would realize the pictures he had taken of this scene included pictures of his friend. Before we get into our next story, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Back when I was 18 years...
All right, we're not going to listen to the HelloFresh because we're not sponsored by HelloFresh.
Really good spring menu that just came out.
Shout out to Mr. Ballen for his HelloFresh sponsorship.
Summer night in 1998, a 7-year-old boy named Tyler Florian fell asleep watching TV on his living room couch. Tyler lived with his parents as well as his old...
How can you sit there and say that that one's fake, Rob? The dude died from a helicopter that landed on his head.
No, that shit's fake.
Like, wait, what? Like, it was like they found him. They found the remains under the helicopter remains. Like, he was in there, bro. Like, what do you Rob, come on, man. This ain't no ghost video.
Who was 10 years old,
Not yet, anyway.
in a modest 2-story home in a rural neighborhood in West Virginia. That night, Tyler's father, who normally tucked the boys in at night, was out for work. And so after Tyler fell asleep, it was his mother who gently woke him up and encouraged him to head upstairs to his room. And so Tyler, he gets off the couch and he's groggy and he makes his way over to the stairs. He climbs up the stairs and he turns right and heads down the hallway to his room. He goes into his bedroom. He climbs into his bed, and then he falls asleep. In order to understand what happens next, you need to have a good understanding of the layout of the second floor hallway. That hallway stretched from the front of the house all the way to the back of the house. And at either end of this hallway were doors that led outside of the house, and these doors had big windows on them. The front of the house, that door, if you walked out it, you'd be walking out onto a balcony that overlooked the front yard of the property. But if you walked out the back door of this second floor hallway, you would not be walking onto a balcony. You would not even be on the second floor. You'd be basically stepping into the backyard of the house.
It was one of those weird houses that's built on a slope, like on a hill. So, yeah, like the front half of the house is like, 2 stories, and the other half is like 1 story in like a basement. like situation. So yeah, we see there's a
And
lot
the
of
reason
houses
for
like that
this
out
is
here
because
in
the house
Colorado,
was
actually.
built into a hill.
Yep, see?
And so the back half of the house is literally underground. It's in the hill. And so there is no door on the lower half of the house because there's just earth behind the door. And so it's that second floor doorway at the end of the hall that serves as kind of like the exit to the backyard of the house. So with that in mind, Tyler, he gets upstairs, he goes to his bedroom, which is towards the front half of this hallway, and he falls asleep. And then only about an hour after falling asleep, he wakes up to the sound of someone using the bathroom. Tyler's bedroom was positioned right across the hall from the bathroom, and his door was open. And so Tyler's laying on his bed, he opens his eyes, and he's looking through his open door at the bathroom. And the bathroom, the door is shut, but he can see there's light coming out from underneath the bottom of the door, so he knows someone's in there. And so Tyler's just laying there watching whoever's in there. He's assuming it's his brother, who has a habit of going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And so he's just kind of watching, and then at some point he hears the flick of the light as it's turned off, and he sees the light disappear from inside of the bathroom. The door swings open, and sure enough, it's his brother who steps back into the hallway. His brother looks into Tyler's room, but doesn't attempt to interact with Tyler. Instead, Will just turns and walks back down the hallway towards his bedroom. And so as Tyler is listening to the sound of his brother's footsteps fade down the hallway, he closes his eyes again and prepares to go back to sleep. But as he's laying there with his eyes closed, he can tell that his brother has stopped short of his bedroom and has turned around and is now walking back up the hallway towards the bathroom and towards Tyler's room. And so Tyler opens his eyes again because he knows his brother is about to be right in front of his bedroom, and he's thinking, okay, maybe he forgot something in the bathroom. And so Tyler decides to just watch to see what his brother does. And so sure enough, Will walks all the way up until he's standing right in front of Tyler's open door, but instead of going into the bathroom, Will walks into Tyler's room. And right away, Tyler sits up and says, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? And his brother, he pauses for a second, and he begins to say something that sounds like he saw something out there, but, he's hesitant. He doesn't really know how he wants to frame the thing he wants to say. And so Tyler's like, come on, what are you doing? It's the middle of the night. What's going on? And finally, Will just blurts out, I keep seeing a man wearing stripes at the end of the hallway. And so Tyler, he hears this and he can't compute what he's being told. And so he just says, what? Right, what are you talking about, Will? What did you see in the hallway? And Will...
What would you say if your sister came in your room and said that some shit like that?
I would have just screamed. Every time I screamed, my dad woke up and he brought a gun. I would have just screamed. My fucking ass off.
But even if she was trying to be real, like quiet about it, you would just scream?
Hell yeah, I would scream. What the fuck was I gonna do about it? I'm not about to
say again, I keep seeing a man wearing stripes at the end of the hallway. I've seen him a couple times in the last couple of days. I go to the bathroom, and then when I start walking back, I see him outside the back door in our backyard. And so Tyler is so scared because his brother does not sound like he's making a joke. His brother sounds like he's telling the truth. And just the fact that his brother can't quite find the words to describe what he saw made it seem even more real. And so Tyler, he gets out of bed and he says, Will, we gotta go tell Mom. But that required going into the hallway and going down the hall towards where apparently this man in stripes was to get to their mother's bedroom. And so Will, who initially was not that scared of this man in stripes he had seen, was now starting to get pretty panicked in seeing Tyler's reaction to this. And so Will tells Tyler, stay right there, stay in the room. And so Will, he kind of peeks back into the hallway and he looks all the way down, and there is no man in stripes anymore. There's no one in the hall. And so he tells Tyler, the coast is clear, and the two of them run down the hallway all the way right in front of that door that leads into the back of the property where the man in stripes was, and they turn left and they go into their parents' bedroom where just their mother was because their father was out of town. And so they charge in there, they wake their mom up, and they're talking over each other, trying to communicate to their mom that there was a ghost, that there was an intruder, that there was something bad happening around their house. And so finally their mom just tells them to be quiet, and she says, okay, boys, sit on the bed. I'm I'm going to go have a look around the house. And so the two boys do as they're told. They sit on the bed, and their mom leaves the bedroom. She goes into the hallway, and she looks immediately to her left where the man in stripes supposedly was, and she doesn't see anything. She just looks out into their backyard. There's nothing there. She looks down the other direction, out the front of the house, doesn't see anything. She walks all around the house. She goes outside. She looks everywhere, but she doesn't see anyone or anything. And so eventually she comes back inside the house. She goes up to the second floor. She goes back to her bedroom, and she tells her boys, look, you probably just spooked yourselves. There is no man in stripes. You're totally safe. You're totally fine. Just go back to bed. You probably just imagined whatever you saw. And so Will, who was the one who saw the man in stripes.
You notice something about what he's wearing?
Who?
He got stripes on.
I
was very quick to accept
in my mind. Listen, this is how I know I'm high, because in my mind I was like, rewind it, but we wasn't watching no kind of movie or anything. And I was like, rewind it, like trying to see what the person he's talking about is wearing.
Oh, man.
His mother's answer. It actually seemed like it was a relief to have somebody tell him that what you had seen wasn't real. And so he very happily went back to his bed and he fell asleep. But Tyler, who had not seen the man in stripes, but had a very intense reaction to hearing his brother describe it, could not accept his mother's answer. It just totally freaked him out because his brother was always joking around about stuff, but this did not feel like a joke. This felt very, very real. But over the course of the next couple of days, weeks, months, years, Will never claimed to see the man in stripes again, and so pretty quickly, Tyler forgot about it. Fast forward 11 years to 2009, so Tyler is now 18 years old, and he and his mom were out in the car running some errands. And as they're driving around, they were just chatting about all sorts of different things, and at some point, they began talking about one of their beloved family pets, a dog named Max that they had when Tyler was really young. And so as they're kind of swapping stories about all the goofy things that this dog did, Tyler's mom suddenly says, hey, Tyler, do you remember the time that I opened the front door to let the cops into the house and Max came bounding into the house and he went right into the kitchen and he ripped open all the food? And Tyler's looking at his mom like, wait, when did the cops come to our house? When did you open the door to let the cops come into our house? And as soon as Tyler said this to his mom looked at him as if she had just given away something she hadn't meant to. And then she kind of relaxed and said, you know what? I never got around to telling you. Now that I'm thinking about it, you and your brother were asleep and you didn't even know this happened. And then afterward, me and your father decided not to tell you guys because we didn't want to scare you. Back when you were about 7 years old and Will was about 10 years old, your dad was away at work and we were all asleep one night when suddenly I wake up to the sound of someone or something moving around outside of our house. And so I sit up in bed and I go into the hallway and I look left and I look out that door into our backyard and I see standing up against the glass this man with his hands pressed to the window looking into the house. And so Tyler's mom would tell him how she totally freaked out. She flipped on the lights and it scared the...
What kind of shit is... How do you just forget some shit like that?
Wait a minute, did the boy see it or did she see it?
She did. She's telling her story.
I'm confused. I'm really
guy
confused.
who ran off, and then she called the police, and then the police showed up, and that's when their dog Max came bounding inside and shredded the bag of food, and the police...
What was not... Yeah, Will or whatever saw it first and then told Tyler, and then they ran into the mom's room. That was the boy's story, and then now she's telling her story.
Searched the property, but apparently they never found this guy. Tyler's mom would go on to tell him that the police warned her that her description of this man that was standing at their back door matched the description of a man who was wanted for murder who was on the loose in the area. Tyler was dumbfounded. He didn't remember this because obviously he had been asleep because this is something he would have remembered. And so he had so many questions about this whole situation. But the first question he asked his mom was, well, what did he look like? And his mom said, well, you know, he was tall, he had dark hair, he had blue jeans on, and oh, you know what? He had a striped shirt on. It would turn out, for a couple of days in the summer of 1998, this suspected murderer who was on the run from police had apparently been hiding out on Tyler's family's property, and in the middle of the night, for whatever reason, this suspected murderer would walk over to the back door of the second floor hallway, and he would put his face up to the glass and he would stare into their home. This was the man in stripes that Will claimed to have seen. He was real. Tyler, after making this connection, would follow up with his family members and he would do some digging of his own, but he was never able to figure out who the man in stripes was or what happened to him.
What kind of
In
creepy ass
2012,
shit is
a
that?
22-year-old woman named Simone was living in a small winemaking village called Rüdesheim am Rhein, which is located in southwestern Germany. This village...
Like, what would you do?
Scream.
But to do what? You were the adult.
Yeah, scream. These kids, I don't know. Just scream. We would be screaming together. Because fuck no, I wouldn't have walked outside. I wouldn't have done none of that.
That's
I'm not
crazy.
walking outside.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Strikingly beautiful.
That's super
it's
crazy.
full of quaint European homes, and there's lots of rolling green hills with vineyards as far as the eye can see, and the village sits right on the banks of the Rhine River. Simone had grown up in this picturesque village, and she had loved it, but this was going to be her last summer before she left and headed off to New York City to start the next chapter of her life. And while she was excited about that, she was also kind of sad because this village and everybody inside of it were the only things she had ever known, and so the idea of leaving them behind just seemed very strange to her. But instead of focusing on the kind of growing anxiety around her imminent departure from Germany, she focused on what she would be doing that summer while she was still in Germany. Some of Simone's fondest memories of her childhood were of her time spent at summer camp, and this summer camp was located in this forest that was not far from her village, and every summer in July, Simone, along with about 200 other kids from her village and from neighboring villages, would converge on the campgrounds in the forest for 2 weeks of playing games and going on scavenger hunts and putting on stage plays and just generally having a really good time. But when Simone became a teenager and was too old...
Did you ever do like the little, what do they call it?
Ballarat?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's like kind of like that? Or you never do you never do like any like summer camps or anything?
Nope.
Really?
Really?
He's scary.
No, I'm
to
not.
be a camp attendee, she decided she would volunteer and be a camp counselor. And she found it was awesome. She immediately connected with the other camp counselors, and she felt all grown up, having a real job, and she loved goofing around with all of the kids. And so every summer since that first time volunteering, Simone had gone back and volunteered again. And this summer was no different. So in mid-July of that year, Simone packed up her things and she headed off to the forest. The way this camp worked was the 200 plus kids that were attending the camp, they would get dropped off in the mornings each day by their parents, and they'd play and run around all day, and then in the late afternoon their parents would come back and pick them up. So none of the kids were sleeping over at the camp during these 2 weeks. However, the 30 plus counselors, they would just stay at the camp for the full 2 weeks. They would just sleep in tents out in the forest. Technically, the reason they did this was to make sure they had enough time in the morning to prep the campgrounds for the kids, and then also in the evenings to have enough time to clean up and kind of have it ready for the next day. But in reality, Simone and the other counselors all knew that the camping out in the forest was the best part of the volunteer experience. After all the kids went home for the night, all of the counselors would finish up all of their duties and then rush off into the forest where their tents were and where there was a fire pit, and they would have some beers and wine because the legal drinking age in Germany is actually 16. So all these counselors were having a couple of drinks, and then before long they'd be...
I want to say it used to be even like younger than that in Germany. It used to be like 13 or some shit.
and telling stories and just generally having a great time. So that July in 2012, Simone and the other counselors arrived at the campgrounds a day early, and they caught up with each other and they prepared the campground. And then the next morning, all the kids showed up and everything went off without a hitch. And then that afternoon, after all the kids had been picked up by their parents, Simone and the other counselors rushed to finish up all their duties and then headed off into the woods to enjoy their first night hanging out together. After a couple of beers had been passed around the campfire, everybody was in good spirits and laughing and telling stories. But pretty quickly, people started to fade and get tired because, it was their first day back at camp and it had been a long, tiring day. And so people very gradually began retiring to their tents to go to bed. And eventually Simone, too, had crawled into her tent and gotten onto her cot to try to sleep herself. But she found that night it was so hot she couldn't be in her tent. It was stifling inside of there. And so she decides she's just going to sleep out in the open where it's a little bit cooler. And so she picks up her fold-up cot and she brings it out into the open, and she sees there are several other counselors who have done the same thing. And so she puts her cot down next to one of her good friends who's already asleep in her cot. And then Simone climbs into her cot, she gets under her covers, and she tries to fall asleep. But for the next hour, Simone just tosses and turns. She can't get comfortable. And by that time, everybody else has completely passed out. So it's just her. She's counting down the time until she has to get up again to start the next day. And so she's getting stressed about that. But eventually, she would fall asleep. However, she would immediately be thrust into one of the most visceral and intense nightmares she had ever had in her entire life. In her dream, she opens her eyes and she looks out in front of her, and it's this desert city, and there are hundreds of people all in front of her, just standing there looking up at her. And then she notices on her left and on her right are these two men, these big, huge men that are both working on something behind her. She doesn't really know what it is, but they're obviously busy doing something. And she kind of glances up at one of them and she notices he's holding something that looks like a wreath, like a holiday wreath you would hang on your door. And so Simone looks away from the guy with the wreath and just looks back out at this huge sea of people, which is totally bizarre because no one's moving, no one's making any sound, they're just staring at her. And
before I go that of it, do you remember your dreams like this vivid?
Yes, some of them. If they were like really, really bad, then yes.
I don't really feel like even when they're really bad, it's hard to recount everything that happened in the dreams for me. I don't know.
And she feels this shooting pain in the top of her head. The man who was standing on her right was not holding a holiday wreath. He was holding a crown of thorns, and now he, along with the guy on the other side of her, were working together to press this crown of thorns into her head. And so Simone is feeling the thorns being pressed deeper and deeper into her scalp, and she tries to fight them off, but she realizes she can't move. She can't even turn her head to look at them. She can only see them out of her periphery vision. And then she tries to scream out for help to someone in the crowd to come help her, but when she opens her mouth, no sound comes out. And so as she's sitting there, all she can do is stare straight out ahead of her as the pressure of these thorns are driven deeper and deeper into her skin. And then at some point, blood begins dripping down in front of her eyes. And around that point, the pain became so blinding, so awful that it woke her up. And as soon as she woke up, she shot up and she reached for her head to make sure there was no crown of thorns on her. And as she's doing that, she's thinking, okay, phew, it was just a dream. That was just a horrible dream. I'm in this forest. I'm good. I'm safe. And as she's kind of patting on her head, she's realizing her head is wet. And as she's touching her head, she's realizing it hurts. There's a stinging pain in her head. And then she realizes it's not just a stinging pain, it's a throbbing, intense pain all over her head. And so as she's kind of having this realization that her dream is now kind of segued into her real life, she looks out ahead of her and she sees off in the distance in the tree line, something is running through the woods. She can't tell who or what it is, but she makes a mental note that there is someone running away from them. But this pain in her head has gotten so intense that she can't focus on anything else. She can only focus on the pain. And as she's thinking about how much her head hurts, she screams in pain. And the girl who was laying next to her that had been asleep, she wakes up to the sound of the scream, but it's totally pitch black. She has no idea what's going on with Simone. And so this girl, she sits up and she's trying to get Simone to tell her what's going on, but Simone has no idea. She's totally frantic. She can't really make sense of what's happening. And so this friend, she reaches down and she picks up a flashlight, she turns it on, and she aims the light at Simone, illuminating her head. And when this friend sees Simone's head, she starts to scream. Seconds later, the rest of the counselors that have been sleeping out were awake, and they were rushing Simone, who was now shaking and vomiting, over to one of the staff vans. And then 15 minutes later, they had driven her to the emergency room. It would turn out, after Simone had finally fallen asleep and she began having that really intense dream about a crown of thorns being dug into her scalp, Well, in reality, something was digging into her scalp, and it was kind of manifesting itself in her dream. And what was digging into her scalp was the jaws of a fox. This fox had snuck into the campsite and walked right up behind Simone and just started eating her head. And amazingly, it did not wake Simone up right away. And so this fox got 20.
Bruh.
I knew it. Oh my god.
That shit makes me want to like throw up. That's so gross.
He was eating her head.
Oh, that's so nasty. That's so fucked up, bro. Oh man. Oh man. That's gross.
Or so serious bites out of Simone's head before she shot up and scared it away. And so almost certainly what Simone saw running away from her in that quick moment was the fox. Doctors were able to save Simone and stitch her head back together, and they were even able to hide all of the scars in her hairline so you can't even see them. But despite her being physically okay today, psychologically, this was a very traumatizing event. Not only does she refuse now to go into any forest, whether it's day or night,
she
but
said,
she also
I refuse
periodically
to go
still
day or
gets
night.
phantom pains in her scalp that feels like the fox is biting her head all over again. So that's going to do it, guys. If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't done this already, please spend
that shit's, man, Mr. Ballen. That last one, that one kind of messed me up. Like, what the hell? All right. Babe wanted to do a scary one, so we're going to do a slap ham one. Creepy videos that will make you hide. It's a new slap ham. We're about to do it.
Slapped ham?
Slapped ham. You ready for some slapped ham? All right.
I'm ready for you to slap me.
That shit would be...
Nope.
What would you do, though, if a fucking fox was eating your head? Like, I can't get over that. Like, what would you do?
What do you mean? What would I do?
What would you do?
The same shit. I would scream.
Damn, that fox was eating her like a snack, though.
Yeah.
Like, just eating her shit.
Yeah.
It was just like snacks. Just like, damn. Like, what was, something was like, she smelled good or something. Because there was hella other camp counselors and you just picked her.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's crazy. Anyway, let's go. You ready?
How you doing? I'm Callan, and this is Slapped Ham.
Slapped Ham.
Today we're looking at some scary clips that are sure to give you the chills. So as always, before we dive in, remember to hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content. Just like this.
That's got lavender in the middle. It's gonna hurt my eyeballs. Don't put that away. Yeah.
Act right.
I ain't gonna have to scare you.
Terra Al Extremo is a popular urban exploration channel on YouTube. They regularly investigate some of the most notorious places in Mexico, sites of urban legend, famous hauntings, and other eerie locations. In this clip, the team visits a cemetery in Cocotitlan, Mexico. According to the YouTubers, this is a city of witches, myths, and legends. They begin by walking among the near endless rows of tombstones.
Did you hear him laugh?
Yeah, something laughed.
Did you see that?
Shortly after they enter the cemetery, they spot something eerie in the distance.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'd be out. I'd be gone. Look, okay, here's my thing. Would you, like, I like, one thing I hate about some of these scary videos is that people be putting themselves in dumbass situations. Would you go to a graveyard? Not just would you go to a graveyard at night?
No.
Right. My point. See, any logical person is not going to a graveyard at nighttime.
A dark figure can be seen walking up ahead.
It's a grave stealer. Somebody's out there stealing shit from graves.
The dark, shadowy figure is difficult to see at first, but it seems to follow them throughout their investigation of the property. It appears again a few minutes later.
Oh shit, I just saw it walk that way. What are you all aiming up for? Ain't none of the goddamn trees.
Here we can see it looks like a person that's wearing a cloak. But it seems to be completely made of shadows and at times almost looks transparent.
Yeah, fuck that. You can keep it. I wouldn't be in no goddamn
Spurred on by these sightings, the team continues to search the
graveyard in
property.
the first place. So dumb.
I guess if we wanted to see some spooky shit.
Later in the investigation, something strange happens near the two cameramen. Take a look.
Hell no, Nugget. Hell no.
Did you see that?
Watching that again, as they take a look around, a noise can be heard from behind them. Then a strange puff of dust rises up from the ground.
Damn, like somebody ran by.
It's as though the ground was stirred up by something.
Yeah, like something running by.
It would have been out.
Viewers have been divided by this cemetery exploration. Some have suggested the team might have just disturbed a squatter or homeless person that was sleeping in the graveyard.
Somebody in there.
Others, however, aren't
graves,
so sure, noting the almost translucent quality of the figure.
Oh no. I still ain't going to no goddamn graveyard at night though. I don't give a damn. Because if I would have saw some shit like that anyway, I would have
So
just
are viewers
assumed ghosts
reading
and
too
ran.
much into this sighting, or is there more to it? Let me know where you stand on this in the comment section down below.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Hey peeps, just a quick interlude to let you know today's episode is sponsored by Hero Wars. You can download it for free using this QR code right there. Otherwise,
Good job,
we'll
brother.
use my special link in the description box below.
Good job for all your...
Big King Gourmet has been leaving viewers
sponsorship.
confused and divided over what it's actually showing. Take a look and make your own mind up.
It's the mothership. That's the goddamn mothership. Look at that shit. Aliens. Aliens are here.
The video
already.
was recorded in Oak Cliff, Texas, United States. Off in the distance, you can see a strange object in the sky.
What is that, y'all?
A goddamn mothership, nigga. That's what it is.
What is that, y'all?
It's a goddamn
No, but-
mothership. Fuck. Oh, the water's gone, babe.
Water is-
Now here's why the comments.
Babe. 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 I love you. Babe. I'm parched.
Is divided. Some say it's nothing more than a light post. A few Oak Cliff
Babe.
locals chimed in saying there are similar poles running the length of the nearby freeway. However, this object's all on its own and seems far taller than a normal street lamp.
Yeah, that does look weird. Like,
This
I mean,
is where
there's
the
street lamps
UFO
right there. There ain't no,
enthusiasts
that
come
ain't no
in.
goddamn street
A lot
lamp.
of
That's a
comments
goddamn
believe it
mothership.
looks like an alien craft with a beam of light shooting down to Earth.
Yeah, they're here. Ooh, that's the next shirt.
Around
They're
halfway
here.
through the footage, what appears to be a
They're
commercial
here.
aircraft flies behind the object.
Oh, was he shooting at it? What is happening?
So where do you land? Are you team UFO or team lamp?
UFO.
Depending on what you think it is, write the
Goddamn
words
UFO.
UFO
Some
or
mothership.
lamp in the comments down below
They're here.
to cast
What
your
the fuck
vote.
was it lighting if it was that high?
I don't know.
What was it gonna light?
Shit was like sucking up the cows and shit. It was using a little beam trying to grab somebody
Some
out their
experts
house.
believe that as many as 1 in 10 people may suffer from coulrophobia,
Yeah.
the fear of clowns.
Hey, you
If
better
you're
drink
one
some
of
water
them, you
now?
may want to avert.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a. Ooh, I left it on a paused it on a creepy ass fucking part. But that shit is creepy looking. Look at that shit. That shit is creepy. God damn. Yeah, we're not talking about it in the comments. Sound like my client snoring. The Batman symbol. That was a goddamn mothership. Yeah, you like that? You like that? That's a good one. I like it too.
Why didn't you watch it?
Oh no, we're about to watch it together. I just let you get a little break and prepare yourself. Thanks, babe. Ready? Look at that creepy ass motherfucker right there.
Their eyes during this next video from Redditor haunted Luca. According to the Redditor, Luca is a one-of-a-kind jester doll created by Wayne Klesky as part of the Catherine's collection of dolls. After purchasing him, Luca's new owners quickly began to find him in positions different from where they had left him previously, becoming more extreme over time. At one point, the Redditor believes that his wife was even possessed by the doll. She allegedly went missing for several hours.
What?
They've tried using spirit boxes on Luca, and at one point heard a girl's voice repeatedly screaming, "Let me out," for over 40 minutes. However, they haven't been able to quite film.
Get out of here. What would you do? You got me messed up talking about you heard a voice screaming for 40 minutes, let me out. And the fact that this shit is moving? Burn that shit and go about your day. It ain't even your house. You just got this creepy ass doll that you just need to set ablaze and go about your day. Like, what are you keeping? Would you keep that shit?
Oh my God.
Moving. Whenever they try, the camera equipment sustains heavy damage.
Really?
In the first clip they share of Luca, we see the clown sitting down in his chair next to an EMF detector.
Just the creepiest ass doll ever. Just smiling at you.
The lights on the device blink furiously, indicating a strong spiritual presence.
That is the creepiest ass doll. You gotta be a creepy motherfucker to want to keep a doll like that.
In the second clip, we see Luca covered with a sheet to protect him from dust. The clip's been sped up to 32x as the original video goes for over an hour. Take a look at what happens.
He's taking that shit off.
What's happening?
She's you just fucked me up with that. He got hot. Oh, hell
As the camera
no.
rolls, bit by bit, the sheet slips to the ground.
Like somebody's taking it off, for real.
Maybe it just fell.
According to the Redditor, they often find Luca's sheet on the floor in the morning.
Look at that. That guy look
The
like he got
Redditor states
snatched
that
off.
no one in the family is afraid of Luca as his activity seems to be harmless.
Would you be in
Instead,
the
they just accept him for who he is. They
What?
even stated that animals seem to be quite...
That's like some shit like somebody having an ugly dog or something. Like, they just, like, he's just so ugly, he's cute. We just accept him for who he is. Like, get out of here with that shit.
onto the doll
No.
as well. So, given the stories and all
Burn
the strange
that shit
activity,
to the
how would you
ground.
They
feel
said
about
if
having
you
Luca
don't ever
as
set
part of
anything
your
haunted on
family?
fire, it will release it, and you got to bury it.
Baby monitors
Oh,
are a great way to keep
creepy-ass
an eye on
shit
your
is
kids
that?
while they're
That's what
asleep
they
in
said.
another room.
What?
Of course, if you like Reddit a lousy mouse, you may
I'm
end
still
up seeing
burning
something
that
you
shit
wish
to
you
the
hadn't.
ground.
According to the Redditor, their son
Put
was
some
taking
dirt
a
on top
nap
of
in a
it.
nearby room when they noticed something unusual on the baby monitor that made their blood run cold. In the photos they uploaded, there appears to be a person standing on the right side of the screen. Only a faint outline's visible, but it seems clear that someone
That
is
does look
standing
like
in the
somebody
child's
standing
room.
there.
The OP noted that every time they got closer to the monitor to have a better look, the figure seemed to disappear. And they were at a loss to explain the bizarre event. Several Redditors have theories about the mysterious figure. Quite a few people suggested that the person in the photo looks very real indeed and might have been an intruder who's secretly living in the house. They recommended having a good look around the house for evidence of someone secretly living in the roof or other crawl spaces.
Somebody squatting in your
Others,
attic.
however, think that because the figure disappeared so quickly, it's more likely to be a paranormal entity of some kind. In either case, spotting a mysterious person lurking in your child's bedroom is enough to make any parent nervous. Whether an intruder or a ghost, they should definitely keep a close eye on everything going on in that room from now on.
Yeah, for sure.
They say that flying is a safer mode of travel than driving.
Hanging out
but how
with
would
us,
you
you
feel
dig what I'm
about that
saying? What up,
statistic
D-Ray?
if you spotted a UFO while in the air?
Or Ray.
The footage uploaded to TikTok by Dark Sky Files was recorded from a quiet commercial flight in the middle of the day. The sky is bright blue and we can see a layer of fluffy white clouds below the plane. As the camera zooms in, we can see a large white object flying alongside the plane, off in the distance.
Yeah, they're here. Aliens. I mean, as many times as I've flown, I ain't never seen anything weird.
Me neither.
But the aliens
whatever it
here,
is, it resembles a narrow blimp or perhaps a wide saucer.
No doubt about it.
It's entirely white and doesn't seem to emit any light. It just flies quietly alongside the plane for the entirety of the video. At one point, the OP pans the camera around the interior of the plane, but no one else seems to notice the strange object outside.
I would tell people, like, do y'all see that?
As per usual with UFO sightings, the camera holder
Why
does their
is
best
like
to
that is
not...
very true. Like, if you were seeing some shit like that, like I know I would be loud too. Like, oh shit, nigga, do you see this shit outside? Like I feel like
explanation.
Right, I feel like I'd be real ignorant too.
Somebody
I'd be real ignorant.
Fucking explanation.
I would be real ignorant. I ain't even gonna lie.
film the
you ain't
object
even
in
lying.
question.
This might be CGI'd. They might have planted some shit. I don't know, cause they too calm. You hundreds or what?
One
Yeah, 100,000 feet above the fucking ground and shit.
Spacecraft
Seeing
belonging to the United
spacecrafts and
States'
shit.
space program.
And you ain't saying nothing, nigga. You ain't got not one word to say, nigga.
Sweating
As
like
of right now,
video,
there's
nigga.
no word on what this sighting
Bruh.
might actually be.
Baby,
So
they're
until we hear
here.
more, this encounter will have
They're
to
here.
remain a complete mystery.
I'd be terrified.
They're here for sure. There's no doubt about it.
I would be terrified.
Before we take a look at something eerie happening at a birthday party, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and
See?
turn on all channel notifications.
Tickle
way
that
you'll be in the
little
loop every time we
gooch
drop our
area of the
scary,
subscribe button
mysterious
and go ahead and
videos.
handle your business. You dig what I'm saying?
This clip, uploaded by TikToker Parasomnia MX, has been freaking people out. Take a look at what's been captured.
Bruh. Hell no, her candles just blew themselves out.
Wait,
I gotta go. Fuck this party. Y'all can have it. I take the L. I'm just gonna go ahead. That's God telling me that I just need to go ahead and keep it pushing. Watch. They're gonna play back. Her candles blew themselves out.
The camera captures something strange. The candles seem to blow out all on their own.
What would you do if you just were sitting there recording your friend and some shit like that happened?
I don't know.
You wanna know what I do? Peace. Gotta go. Adios. We can't be friends.
I don't know if
You
I
got
would be-
demons,
I'm
and
not-
you got to figure that out. I can't be friends. I can't be friends with people that
The
got
look of
demons
shock
attached
and
to them. It's just
confusion
not
on
gonna
the
happen.
birthday girl's face suggests
Right.
that it wasn't another attendee who blew them out.
She is.
Besides, if you watch the
She is
smoke, it's clear that the
terrified.
candles are
blows,
extinguished
like,
from
out.
above.
Look. And she's looking up, not blowing. Gotta go.
Although the birthday girl herself is the only one standing in this position. Stranger still, the flowers on the left don't move at all, ruling out the possibility of a stronger gust of air coming from somewhere off camera.
Bruh, it's like maybe she's like pregnant and her baby's like spirit was like, fuck them candles, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. Blow them shits out. I don't know. I gotta go though. There's no goddamn way. If I seen something like that.
That's what happened.
Did you just say she queefed?
She queefed.
Is that
Strong winds. Strong winds.
Oh goddamn. Oh man, that would be a hell of a thing right there. Bruh. I ain't even got nothing to say to that.
Strong
So what's going on here? Is this the work of a poltergeist, as some commenters suggested? Or is there another way to explain this bizarre event? Share your theories with the rest of the community in the comment section down below.
You see that shit? Look. Listen, y'all remember to tickle that Mile High Gooch, aka Sub.
That's a mess. Don't encourage it.
Ah, damn. Oh, man. Right, you'd have to get, yeah, for sure.
She was about to cuss somebody out.
She was trying to figure it out. Even that kid was confused because he was over there eating, so you know it wasn't him. Damn.
Now, if you want some more freaky paranormal mysteries, then check out that link on the
If you
top.
want some more freakiness, go ahead and tickle that gooch area.
I'm going to get in the shower.
No, you got to do one more.
No, I
Yeah.
want to get in the shower.
No. One more.
Okay, bye.
One more. Look, we'll do a 12-minute one.
No, that's a long one.
Hey, what are you doing?
He's a shot.
Hello everyone, my name is Sir Spooks. Today we'll take a look at the top 5 scary videos you've never seen before. Or at least there's a pretty good chance you haven't seen them. But with all that said, let's begin. This video is sponsored by
Really?
Gin Rummy Stars, a free-to-play friendly gin rummy game that you can
No,
play.
we're not gonna. No, you got. Glad you're sponsored, but we're moving on.
There.
All right, let's go. Just a little old gooch tickle. It's free.
Paranormal investigators Will, Chris, and Keith are part of the IF investigation team, who frequently upload videos documenting their various explorations.
Man.
In this particular video, published to their channel in January of 2018, the trio explore this creepy residential home located in Woodsboro, Texas.
That's the best
Where they
statement
make
for
quite a
something.
shocking
It is, ain't it?
For the first while, all goes well in the investigation. Nothing creepy happens, and the group don't seem to find anything intriguing. However, during the middle of the video,
Ow!
the camera in the den...
Ow! What the hell was that? Ow! That hurt.
You scared my baby.
God damn. All right. Let's get back to this.
It's just to
Ow,
capture
she took
something
that clip
truly
out. and
eerie.
Pull the
Take
hair.
a look.
Can I Bob Marley?
No. I'm Bob Marley's great grandson. Oh, did you see that shit?
I don't want to. What? Just tell me. What did you see?
Watch.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Although
babe.
it can be a little bit difficult to see because of the video's grainy quality.
She scared you
Dark
too.
den. If you look just carefully enough, you should be able to make out what appears to be
Look.
some sort of a strange shadow-like
Look.
figure moving around before ultimately disappearing entirely. In the description of the video, the group says that they have tried to debunk their find, but they can't come up with any sort of
Came
logical
up.
explanation. What do you think they ended up capturing in this creepy Woodsboro house that night? Be sure to let me know all of your theories in the comments below. On February 22nd, 2021, a man named James Gabriel uploaded this highly mysterious video to his YouTube channel that shows him trying to be silent so the viewer can hear something strange coming from somewhere close by. Throughout the duration of the video, if you listen closely, you can hear what sounds to be a series of strange, creepy mechanical noises coming from within the building James is filming in. Take a listen.
Sound like somebody mobbing. But he's just sitting there like...
And if that wasn't strange enough, towards the end of the video, something happens that causes James to look visibly startled before shutting off the recording. Have a look and see for yourself.
Oh! Nope. Gotta go. I'm out. I
out
quit.
Of nowhere, a chair in the back of the room seems to move all by itself, understandably causing James to wear a look of utter bewilderment.
Gotta go.
Sadly, because
No
the video
way.
ends immediately after, we
No
don't have
way.
too much in terms of context to go off of. So what do you think? Was there a ghost keeping James company in this building that day?
Hell yeah. He's all in that
Was
shit
this
by himself.
staged in
I
order to get
quit.
some views?
I
Be sure to
quit.
let me know in the comments.
I quit. There's no way. I got 99 problems and a ghost ain't one. And there ain't no 9 to 5 in the goddamn world that
A
that's
Reddit
gonna
user
convince
named
me to have one.
DKid75 posted a video to the popular ghost subreddit where he shared a bit of
You better
context
get
in
out
the
of my
post title,
bathroom.
stating that the following video was recorded a couple of years ago and showcases his pet dog playing around with the uploader's son. Of course, that statement seems very normal, seeing as how millions of people across the world play with their dogs. However, as you will see in just a moment, this seemingly ordinary video soon transforms into something mysterious. Take a look.
Give me that scoop.
What the hell?
The dog in question begins to bark at something when out of nowhere, an unseen force appears to push it across the floor before the video abruptly ends. Many people, including the uploader, have been left completely baffled by the footage, struggling to come up
What would
with
you
any
do if
sort
you
of
seen
logical
Chief's big ass
explanation
slide
as to
across
how
the
this
floor
dog
like
could
that?
be seemingly pushed by nothing. So what do you think? Was there some sort of strange, unseen entity present in the room that pushed the dog out of the way? If so, why? These are two questions that we will sadly never get answers to.
Yeah, that dog did just slide across
was
the
no
goddamn
shadow.
floor. That dog hella slid across the floor and got pushed by something. What did you do?
The following video was uploaded to a YouTube channel known as Paratruthers on February 5th, 2015, and was recorded in Salford, United Kingdom. And ever since its upload, those who have watched it have been trying to come up with an explanation. In the video, we watch footage that was recorded late at night in an unseen area where Salford is completely shrouded in darkness. Out of nowhere, an unsettling breathing noise can be heard, accompanied with this absolutely chilling image.
The hell is that? The fucking aliens and shit. Look at that. That motherfucker doing like a...
That's my cousin.
I can just picture that thing screaming like, ah!
A bizarre, gray, alien-like entity can
They're
be
here.
seen walking towards the cameraman before the video ends shortly afterward.
They're here.
The uploader insists that the entity captured in the recording is a real extraterrestrial being, stating that the figure is way too tall and skinny to be a human being. The person also says that the skin is gray and resembles that of a snake, which definitely seems to be quite accurate.
That shit got us. That's
Other
a
than the
straight
piece
alien.
of footage, information regarding this video is sadly quite scarce. What do you think this entity is?
Aliens.
Is this actually an alien roaming the streets of Salford?
Yeah, that one got kicked
Is
off
it
the
somebody
ship.
in a costume? I'll let you be
That's
the
the
judge.
weakest link. They got exiled. You know what I'm saying?
This last video was quite possibly the most mysterious one from today's list. It was uploaded by a small YouTube channel known as Archangel4444 and was published on February 18th, 2022. Since its initial upload, many viewers have been left deeply disturbed by the footage.
I'm disturbed.
During the first few initial seconds of the video, nothing seems to be out of the ordinary. The video is certainly a little bit blurry and it is difficult to see things, but otherwise it looks like footage recorded on a typical night out. However, in just a matter of seconds, something completely horrifying happens that seemingly has no explanation. Take a look and see for yourself.
Where did I come from? Oh my god, don't think I can
Oh, hell no. Fucking Fishman or something.
That's cat.
As the uploader themselves puts it, the footage showcases a demon facing in from the etheric plane, or perhaps just partially uncloaking to cause terror to the poor victim. Pray Jesus to bind these monsters whenever they cause trouble. Because this video has extremely unknown origins, it is very unlikely that we will ever get answers. Let's just hope that this video is fake, for the sake of our humanity and for the safety of our world.
It was too fast. I wouldn't be on no goddamn weird ass.
And that was 5 scary videos.
At all.
I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then subscribe for more scary content.
Subscribe for more scary content. More scary content.
Okay, I'm going to get in the shower.
You going to get in the shower?
Yeah.
Fine, I guess you go and get in the shower.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for hanging out.
It's bedtime.
You about to go get in the shower.
It's bedtime.
After you get in the shower. It's gonna take you like 10 minutes. Probably longer than that, actually. I was being real generous. What's wrong with you? Anyways, all right, guys. What should we do next? Let's do. I want to say there was another one that I saw earlier that I wanted to do.
Pepperoni.
Yeah, pepperoni. Oh, pepperoni.
Babe, where's your little head thing?
Right here, but you can't keep it because I need to sleep with it. No, because I need to be sleeping with it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna sleep with it. Yes, I am. I'll pull that shit off your head. Aliens for the last 2. Oh, you thinking aliens? Okay, I'm down to do some aliens. Let's see. Alien. Oh, wait, actually, there was that one. Hold on. On here. Some weird catacombs. All right, which one of these one you want to do? I want to do bizarre creatures found in the Bermuda Triangle, or dark catacomb urban legends, or darkest predictions that came from time travelers. You guys, which one? Those 3. The Bermuda Triangle one actually low-key sounds interesting, ain't gonna lie. The one before the last was fake as fuck. Well, yeah, for sure. Which one? We want to do the Bermuda Triangle, Catacomb, Urban Legends, predictions that came from time travelers. Bermuda, I see one. All right, we're gonna rock with the Bermuda one.
The infamous Bermuda Triangle, a region in the North Atlantic Ocean where a number of aircrafts and ships have mysteriously vanished. It's said that over the years, 8,000 people have either died or disappeared in this area. So it's pretty terrifying to think about. Well, today, let's see exactly what lurks under the waters there. From massive sea beasts to large, violent sharks. Let's talk about these and more only in today's video. Starting off this countdown, we have the cookie cutter shark. These sharks are called the cookie cutter shark due to the fact that they leave a cookie-shaped bite hole in their prey. But they are pretty small compared to other sharks. They grow to about only 20 inches, but they are still highly aggressive. In fact, they have been known to attack whales, even great white sharks. These little guys also have the largest teeth out of any species of shark. In fact, their bites are so strong and sharp that they have managed to bite through submarines. I kid you not. Also, they have been known to bite through cables or deep sea equipment.
How the they're biting through submarines? Bruh. Make sense of that. Like, let that shit sink in. They're biting through multiple layers of goddamn, like, all right.
So you definitely don't want to get in the way of these guys.
Yeah, no.
Coming in at number 9, we have the oarfish. The oarfish is the world's longest bony fish. They can be up to 56 feet in length and can weigh about 600 pounds. Damn. They also look pretty weird. They look like a cross between an eel and a fish. Not only that, but they have like bright silvery skin with bright red spikes running down their back. In fact, it gave 2 men quite the scare once. Back in 1860, 2 men were gathering seaweed on the coast of Bermuda when this creature washed up on the rocks. They immediately thought it was a nasty sea serpent beast, so they killed it out of fear. Later, it was found out just to be an oarfish. In our 8th spot today, we have the
That shit does look like a little alien, though.
Now, there are many theories about the Bermuda Triangle regarding the disappearances of both ships and planes. One of the theories is that aliens are behind this, which seems wild to think about. But a number of aliens or ETs have been spotted in the Bermuda Triangle. Christopher Columbus himself spotted an ET when he was traversing the ocean. He apparently wrote about his encounter with a UFO in his diaries. Apparently, Columbus wrote about seeing a bright disc-shaped object rise out of the ocean and fly into the sky. He also said he saw stars spinning above them and a candle-like light floating up and down around them. So people think that he saw an alien spacecraft and that they're living at the bottom of the ocean. In our 7th spot today, we have the giant squid. In 2005, 2 Japanese marine biologists discovered a massive giant squid in Japan. The squid was aggressively attacking baited lines in the area. Now, they did actually manage to capture footage of it, and researchers were able to identify the creature as being an Archituitis. This is a rare species that can seize bait with extreme force. They're also known as being pretty violent, and this creature was close to 30 feet in length, so it was massive. Now, this got scientists thinking, what if there are giant squids of this species residing in the Bermuda Triangle? Since they are violent and known to attack ships, maybe these creatures can be blamed for some of the ship's downfall. I mean, over the years, people have spotted what they believed is the Kraken in the Bermuda Triangle.
Look, I just said that shit. The goddamn Kraken.
Just a massive, aggressive, giant squid. In fact, some squids grow up to 150 feet.
What?
Coming in at number 6, we have the frilled shark.
150 feet? Bro, you ain't getting away. There's no way you'd be getting away. No. Not even close. Let them suction cups get a hold of you, and yeah, they're taking some shit down with them. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
I can't believe that this is an
is
actual
a
creature
chocolate
because
covered
it looks
payday.
like a creature straight out of a horror film. The frilled shark has been around for 80 million years so far. They were given the name the frilled shark because of their frilly appearance of their gills. They also are kind of similar to snakes because they have hinged jaws that allow them to eat big creatures whole. Like when I look at this thing, it looks
That
like a
shit
weird
looks
mix
like a
between a shark
fucking
and
dinosaur.
an eel and a snake. It's also got the scariest looking set of teeth. Now, these things typically grow to about
That's a
7
dinosaur.
feet. However, in 1880, a captain discovered one that measured to be around 25 feet. We're now at the halfway mark
Golly.
with the Man of War.
And
Now,
it's
this is quite
swallowing
an
shit
interesting name
whole?
for a sea creature.
Just walking
in fact,
around
this
just
sea creature
swallowing
is quite
other fucking
interesting.
sharks and
It looks
shit?
like a jellyfish, but it's not. It's a siphonophore. Now, it gets its name
what?
due to its 4 polyps that it has on its body. One of the polyps, which is a gas-filled bladder, is said to resemble an old warship at full sail. So, yeah, that's why they named it that. Now, these
Okay.
things can grow to about 130 feet, which is longer than a blue whale. However, their bodies are very tiny. They aren't much wider than a broomstick handle. Now, humans have to be careful around these guys because they use their tentacles to sting and paralyze their prey. Some humans have been stung by them, and apparently the stings turn into nasty welts, and it's incredibly painful.
I
As an
bet.
adult,
That's like how
chances are that you'll
jellyfish are
survive
anyway.
this
They-
sting. However, sadly, a number
she
of
said
children
it's not a
have
jellyfish.
died from the venom of the Man of War. In our 4th
Damn.
spot, we have the fang-tooth fish. Now, this creature gets its name because of its massive fang-like teeth. In fact, it has the largest teeth compared to body size
Right.
of any known fish.
What
So
the
the
hell
fang-tooth
is
fish
that?
are carnivorous. They love to eat smaller fish and crustaceans.
scary-ass
but they have
piranha.
also been known to go after squids.
piranha, a
Honestly,
zombie
they'll just eat
piranha.
anything that they're able to kill. They have massive jaws lined with enormous teeth. In fact, their fangs are so large that they actually evolved to have special sockets on either side of their brain to accommodate their large fangs. Also, they are pretty dark in color, which allows them to blend in perfectly with the deep, dark ocean waters. In our 3rd spot, we
That's
have
like
the
a
mega
fucking
mouth shark.
terrifying demon
If you're afraid of
piranha.
sharks, then this one is just going to send
Like, piranhas are already terrifying. But you take the look of that and make it even scarier and then add deep, dark water and, like, bro, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? What else can you say? Like, what the fuck is this?
down your spine. Just as its name suggests, these sharks have mega mouths. In fact, they have glowing pores around their mouths so that their mouths actually glow. This helps them in their hunting process. All they gotta do is open their mouth and wait for a fish to be attracted to the light. Now, their mouths are about 4 feet wide, which is insane. Their bodies are typically around 16 feet in length, but they can grow to be about 20. In our 2nd spot, we have the nudibranch or nudibranch. I've heard it said both ways, okay? Anyways, these creatures are soft-bodied, shell-less marine mollusks
slug
or
or something.
sea slugs.
Oh,
they actually
right.
can look quite beautiful with their bright, colorful bodies. Now, its name literally means naked gill, hence the whole nudie part. What's interesting about these is that they like to steal the stinging cells from their prey, and then they use that on their predators to defend themselves. That's pretty wild, right?
That's smart.
And
That's
in our number
evolution
one
at
spot
its
today, we
best
have
right
the
there.
Bermuda beast. Over the years, sailors have spotted a
is the
weird
Bermuda
creature
beast?
lurking in the waters of the Bermuda Triangle that is unlike anything that they have ever seen before. Legend goes that the monster is apparently 4 times the size of the Eiffel Tower. It's also super strong, making it easy to snatch planes in midair, and has strong, powerful teeth that can be used to tear apart ships. This creature has been given the name the Bermuda Beast. Bermuda researcher Rob Simone greatly believes there is indeed a creature lurking in the Bermuda waters. He says, and I quote, "Maybe its food source is contained there. It could explain some of the ships that were mysteriously lost." Now, in the diaries of Christopher Columbus,
be
he wrote
crazy
about
as
seeing
shit
an
to think.
underwater fire-breathing beast while traveling in the area. Now, I don't know so much about the whole fire-breathing thing, but maybe there is some massive sea beast living in that area. All right, guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these creatures you do not want to encounter.
None of
And
them.
now, speaking of comments, let's
Especially
move on
the
to our comment
Bermuda
shout-out
beast.
portion. I'll be shouting out comments.
Like, you know, who wants to, encounter their Bermuda beast. Oops, I didn't want to do a newt. That sounds terrible. The Bermuda beast. Hell no. You can keep that shit. All right, we're going to do this one last one right here. Do this dark catacombs one. And then I'm going to hop off. This one's like 10 minutes.
From ghosts to ghouls and even death himself, catacombs are spooky enough, but with these legends, they are about to get...
Let me just say this, man. I appreciate everybody out there, you know what I'm saying? Everybody who came to hang out with me and Babe when she was sitting here. She's behind the thing now. But appreciate y'all coming to hang out. You know what I mean? These lives, we getting more consistent. We getting lit again. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. Y'all make this shit fun. So yeah, I just had to, give y'all's praise and your flowers right now. Give yourself a pat on the back. You know what I'm saying? Give yourselves a hug. You know what I'm saying? And act like it was me. I love y'all. And do what you gotta do and tickle that little Gucci area. You know what I'm saying? And hit that subscribe button. Let's go.
Even spookier. Curl up with your coziest things while we dive into the top 10 dark catacomb urban legends. Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have the Lost Recording. This legend takes place in the Paris catacombs, and it starts off in the early 1990s when a group of people who love to study and explore the catacombs were doing, well, that. They were walking through these dark chambers and tunnels when they just happened to stumble upon a video camera on the ground. They, of course, like any curious human, picked it up and checked to see if there was any footage. Upon checking the footage, they found that there was some and began playing it, and that is when they heard some very disturbing noises. After a while of watching the tape, it became abundantly clear to them that whoever was responsible for taking the video was clearly very lost and terrified as they took it. It was clear based on the video that the man was losing his mind as he was frantically moving about the catacombs trying to find his way out. The video ends quite abruptly as the man drops the camera to the ground, presumably where the group later found it. If you've seen the absolutely terrifying movie As Above, So Below, you might recognize this sort of a story as this is thought to have been the inspiration for that film.
I don't care about none of the history.
The Lima catacombs. This is a legend that has to do with the catacombs that are located in Lima, which are some of the oldest catacombs in all of South America. It is said that because of the cruelty seen during the colonial era, that many of the souls left inside the catacombs were left in pain and suffering. Many people who have visited these catacombs have reported seeing souls that are dressed in dark suits, levitating over passageways, and even sometimes yelling some of the most chilling sounds that can be heard. One of the most well-known stories pertaining to this is that of an elderly monk. The spirit of this monk is said to be seen on occasion at night, just wandering through the corridors, and is clearly visible to both workers and visitors alike. In our number 8 spot today, we have the Speaking Walls. This legend is another one that is in reference to the Paris catacombs, and it is about what is said to occur after the clock has struck midnight. No one is turning into a pumpkin, and nobody is losing a shoe. No, this is much worse. It is said that if you are inside of the Paris catacombs past midnight, you will hear the walls begin to speak. These voices are said to be trying to persuade you to go further and deeper into the winding dark tunnels, and this is said to be so that they convince you to get lost and condemn you to joining them in their dark misery forever stuck underground. Listen, I'm not sure who would even be brave enough to...
They want you to get lost so you can join their dark misery party. This party of misery. Because misery loves company. Like, what kind of fucking nonsense Oliver and Company shit is this, bro? All dogs go to heaven nonsense is this. I know I don't want to hang out. I don't want to be at your old Sweeney Todd ass party. Who the fuck? That
You're
shit
into
is
the catacombs
nuts.
in the middle of the night in order to corroborate this evidence, but if it's you, then don't listen to the voices. In our number 7 spot today, we have the Priscilla Catacombs.
Keep your ass out of the
catacombs.
catacombs.
This is a legend that has to do with the Priscilla Catacombs that are in Rome. There were many treasures that were once hidden away here, but they were plundered in the 17th century, in part due to orders from the Catholic Church. It isn't 100% clear as to why this plundering took place, but legend suggests that perhaps it was because this space is thought to be haunted and maybe even cursed. There are said to have been some pretty unusual happenings surrounding these catacombs, such as guests both above and below ground feeling a presence and even sometimes feeling an actual push. It is said that whoever is haunting these catacombs is a terrifying presence that was responsible for pushing someone down the hill that resides on top of the catacombs.
Like, it's one thing, like, look, here in Colorado, we got basements in most of the houses out here because we don't got to worry about floods and shit in most cases. really like at all, unless it just rains really hard, and that's very rare that it rains hard enough and really at all any other places that could flood. But anyways, neither here nor there. But we got basements, and it's scary enough to be in a basement at night, and you know what I'm saying, and like to be underground in these like little makeshift like hotel situations, even like that shit look like a little hotel, like a little kicking spot, like the bar, like the fuck. Keep that shit, bro.
To the nearby river.
Keep
In our
that
number
shit,
6 spot
bro.
today, we have The Ghost. This is a story that starts out during the French Revolution, and it has to do with a man named Philibert Aspert. Basically, legend goes that during this time, Philibert was a doorman at the Val de Grace Hospital, and one evening he found himself wanting a specific liquor that needed to be fetched from the cellar. Unfortunately, somehow, he found himself inside of the Paris catacombs. He only had one candle and was walking around in darkness when he realized that he was lost. It is said that Philibert may have also been slightly intoxicated, which I'm sure probably didn't help anything. The candle was blown out, leaving him completely in the dark and unable to find his way out. 11 years later, his body was found, and it was identified by the ring of hospital keys found with him. He was buried in the catacombs in the spot where they found his body with a tombstone describing his death. It is said that every November 3rd, Philibert's ghost comes out to haunt the catacombs.
So he had to wait. He had to stay.
So far we know no catacombs after midnight and no catacombs on November 3rd. In our number 5 spot today, we have the Rome Catacombs. This is a story that pertains to the catacombs found beneath Rome, which are some of the most well-known in the world. Visitors are welcome when it comes to certain areas of these catacombs, but not all are accessible to the public. That's pretty normal. It makes sense that some of these historic sites would be blocked off to visitors, but one of the spookiest parts is that it is said and believed that there are lots of areas of these catacombs that we are no longer aware of. This really makes me wonder what in the world could be down there. Surely someone has to know. Right. It is said that these catacombs are so extensive because they were used by multiple different religions over different periods of time. So who really knows what could be hiding and existing down there that we are totally unaware of? In our number 4 spot today, we have the St. Stephen's Catacombs. This legend is surrounding these catacombs that can be found in Vienna, and it has to do with Death himself. Basically, Death is said to have challenged the tower warden, a full of himself guy named Franz, to a game of Skittles, which is a sort of lawn game. Franz prided himself on being excellent at this game and always knocking down all 9 Skittles in one throw, so of course he accepted the challenge. Apparently he was so good at this game that no one even wanted to play with him anymore. So one night when he was playing by himself, as he usually does, a tall, thin man in a gray cloak and hood approached him and challenged him, and he quickly accepted. Franz went first and hurled the ball at the pins, knocking all 9 of them down, as to be expected. He then reset the pins up for his competitor, but he hid one of the 9 under his cloak, thinking that he was being all sneaky, then he threw it out the window. Turns out the hooded man did see this. I mean, we know, but Franz didn't. He's Death. So he saw this all go down, and he said, "Oh no, my friend, you do not win this way." The hooded man grew taller and taller as he straightened up, and he spread out his cloak to reveal his skeleton self. He looked at Franz, who was completely confused, and said, "I am Death. I always win. I merely need to hit all 8 plus 1. He took aim and blasted all 8 pins and Franz, who fell down dead amongst the Skittles. It is said that now Franz haunts the tower and the catacombs, whimpering and moaning for all of eternity as he searches for the missing 9th pin, likely never to be found. Gives us a story on why you don't cheat. In our number 3 spot today, we have
because you don't know how you don't cheat, because Death went and picked that shit up and took it and was like, if you can find the 9th pin, I will undamn your fucking soul, and you can go about yourself, your time, and go haunt motherfuckers and do what you want to do. But until then, you're stuck in this goddamn building in these catacombs. Haha, good luck. And then he took that shit and dipped out and went on, doing his death thing and having a good old grand time around the world and shit. And that dude's just sitting there searching. That's the moral of the story is don't cheat, kids.
Catacombs. The Odessa catacombs are located in Ukraine, and while many of the catacombs on this list are vast, none are quite as vast as these ones that consist of over 1,200 miles of tunnels. What is exceptionally unique, however, about these catacombs is how they were used. While most catacombs are used to store those who have passed on, these catacombs are not actually used for that. These weren't made to hold the dead, but they have quite a history that includes being used as a nuclear bunker during the Cold War. While the historical significance of this area is rich, what's also rich is the
Chernobyl
legends
and all that
surrounding
shit and
them.
all
The
that
most famous of all
radioactive
suggest that one
nonsense
day
going
a young
on
woman
there,
named
so-
Masha supposedly ventured into the
Right next
catacombs
to
after a night out partying.
Russia.
Bad mix right there, right
All
off the
the
bat.
goddamn
It is said
nukes
that
and
she got
shit.
lost and has never been seen since.
Damn.
While this story hasn't been confirmed, I mean, it is a legend after all, it isn't exactly hard to picture this happening in any of the catacombs on this list. In our number 2 spot today, we have St. Mihans. These catacombs are located beneath the church in Dublin, and despite the spooky stories that relate to these catacombs, the church is still a fully functioning one. These catacombs are said to hold many of Dublin's most influential families from the 17th, 18th, and 19th century, but that is definitely not all. There are many mummified remains here, some of which there are legends of being lucky and being able to instill luck in those who touch them, but there are, of course, much more sinister rumblings as well.
You guys touching a goddamn mummy? Would you touch, like, come on, bro. You get good luck from touching a mummy? What kind of weird shit is that?
Into these vaults that people go, the creepier and eerier things get. It is said that the atmosphere has a palpable change and that people have reported hearing disembodied whispers around them like it's the Chamber of Secrets. Some people have even experienced the feeling of being touched when there is quite literally no one there. It is entirely possible that perhaps these catacombs contain some spirits that are just restless. In our number 1 spot today, we have the secret hideout. This legend is said to have taken place in 2004 when a group of police officers were exploring part of the Paris catacombs that were restricted to the public. As they were doing this, they began finding some really strange things that they weren't expecting. It started with a PA system that had a pre-recorded sound of a sort of guard dog barking noise playing from it. From here, they found this huge area that was wired for phones that were using stolen electricity. How do you even steal electricity? I have no idea above ground, let alone in the catacombs.
Right.
The officers went on to find an entire bar area, a living area, a workshop, and even a lounge in a sort of theater room. Like, these people are living in the catacombs better than I live.
They straight up created a little
so this is all
mansion
really weird,
underground
but
and
here's where
shit.
things get creepy. The seats of this catacomb theater were carved into the stone that's located there, and when they looked up into the ceiling, the officers saw cameras that were recording them. Shortly after this discovery, of course, more investigations into it all took place, and another larger crew went back, but when they got there, everything was gone. All the phones, everything that was in all of these rooms, it basically just vanished. The only thing they found in its place was a note that read, "Don't search." All right, guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out. I've been your host.
So they caught
today.
somebody squatting and shit, doing their thing, and then, yeah, they got caught on camera, and they was like, shit, we got to go move all our shit. We got to go move out, guys. You know, we've been caught, busted. You know what I'm saying? They was hiding in one of the other rooms, watching them on the cameras and shit. Anyways, what up, Clover? But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all hanging out and, you know what I'm saying, doing your thing and chilling with your boy. I'm going to go ahead and hop off now. I appreciate y'all. I tried to go live a little bit earlier today so that, you know, it wasn't super duper late, because I know a lot of y'all be on, like, the East Coast and shit, and y'all are 2-3 hours ahead of me. So I'm trying to be a little mindful. You dig what I'm saying? But, yeah, I'll catch y'all. We'll have video. I got to do some reactions tomorrow, so I'll probably have some uploads for you tomorrow and Tuesday, and then we'll be back and doing some lives on Wednesday. You dig what I'm saying? All right, gang, gang, gang. Get your merch. You know what I'm saying? 99 problems, but a ghost ain't one. Right now, pre-order. The link is, Liz actually just dropped it in the comments. You can click the link right there. Do what you got to do. Copy shit. You know what I'm saying? I got some more stuff coming because they're here. The aliens, that's what I'm talking about. They're here. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have their here shirts coming. So be on the lookout for that. And I think we might have some fuck that shirts coming too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just universal. Because who doesn't just have a moment during damn near every day where you're just like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think we're going to have some fuck that shirts coming too. Anyways, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Y'all have a good night. And yeah, stay easy.